Hey, how we doing? We'll turn that up.
How are you?
Good, good. All right, so I'm going to, so you can share stuff. I'm going to make you host,
Okay.
which will take it away from me, so I won't be able to do anything, but it'll allow you to share. It'll do that. And then I'm going to jump around, but I'll be back and stuff and give it a couple minutes for people to jump since I just got it started. And people will jump around. All you need to do, like at the end, you will see an end button in a second. So
Yep,
now your leave turned to end. All you got to do is hit end and the recording will shoot up because obviously people jump around or in different sessions. So that all the recordings will be posted next week. So the people who happen to be in other breakouts and stuff can then watch them. So but you don't have to do anything. You hit end and it'll auto upload.
perfect. Thank you.
Let me go tell everyone to get okay. Ready. Okay, there.
Want me to give everybody a few more minutes?
You're probably good. People are going to come in and out. I mean, because we're coming back from the break. You're probably good. We see
Okay.
people jumping within the net. It usually takes 5 minutes or so coming back from the little breaks, but
Awesome.
you're good.
All right. I think I recognize a few people on here already, but I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Will Smart. I am a regional solutions and consultants manager for Legrand. I cover all the brands, which I'll go over shortly. But today I'm going to speak mostly to our solution, which is the Easy IP system. Obviously, we have lots of systems that we can go over and solutions. Just about all of our brands can outfit an entire room, but I'm going to stick today with just Easy IP. Let me see here. Just a little bit about Legrand in case people didn't know. We have 90 locations all over the world. We are growing. We sell in about 180 different countries, and we are a $7 billion company right now with about a little over 39,000 employees, which is pretty amazing. A little bit on some of the markets we touch. If you already don't know that, obviously education. And what I'm talking about here is kind of a multi-faceted market product, but education, government, corporate, obviously house of worship, and so forth. Here are some of our brands. If you weren't quite aware of, this is just AV brands, mind you, not even the IT side or the power side or the electrical side, but a lot of these, like Luxol, Daylight, Chief, Vadio, Middle Atlantic, C2G, and then some of our more of our home theater style products, which is Nouveau and OnCue. So Vadio, our tagline is the art of easy, which is really spot on for our products. The Easy IP system that I'm going to talk about now, it's people always ask, like, what is it? It's basically an AV over IP system in a box. It could be scaled up from small rooms to large rooms to split, divide, combine rooms. So it is a nucleus of products that can expand, or you can have just a little bit here, a little bit there, and you can kind of build it as it grows. And we're constantly right now adding more and more products to our ecosystem. We have some stuff coming out soon, which is going to take an HDMI in, and it's going to be able to go right to our ecosystem. So what does our ecosystem really address? in your typical classrooms and so forth, it was extension USB. How do I get the USB from the camera? I want the camera in the back of the room, and how do I get it there? I have to send HDMI and then convert it. So we addressed all of these problems. We now allow you to do everything over a single network cable back to a main point, and then you can kind of go from there. Multi-camera applications with a single cable. So people still want that single cable, that USB cable, to do their presenting and their lecture capture and so forth. And we allow you to do this. We can also, the USB now, it doesn't have to be 200 feet away. It could be close right to where the person's using it. So, and that one solution cable is key for everything, for your audio, video, and everything. So so I'm going to give you a little bit of the hardware portion of the EasyIP system. So it starts with a bridge. So this is basically an AV bridge that accepts video over IP from our cameras. So instead of having the old AV bridge, which we're famous for, where you had to get your HDMI in, and then it breaks out you put your audio in and gives you a single USB. We actually now allow you to extend these pieces in different locations, including the bridge. You can put it in a different location closer to the user. So the bridge accepts, we call it a decoder, but basically it's an AV bridge that's accepting video over IP. We have a network switch that goes with this. This is one of our Luxel switches. This allows you to connect all your devices and power your devices. When you get an EasyIP system, it comes pre-configured, so the device is basically auto-discover once you start setting up, so it makes it super easy to do in the field. We have several different cameras. Unlike some all-in-one systems that people have, they have like a single type of camera, maybe a 12x or 10x. We actually give you a wide variety of cameras. We have a 10x, we have a 20, and we have a 30, which includes auto framing, which is kind of like the tracking kind of feature. So, and you can mix and match them, which is pretty nice. So we have the 10, the 12, and we have our 30, which most people kind of recognize this. This is our IntelliShot, but we have a few different versions now. So this is the EasyIP version. Dante audio. So we have mics for that. We also have table and ceiling mics, speakers, and a device controller. The device controller only controls audio products. So you're going to set it up and it basically will access any audio device really, but this would be used with our EasyIP mixer, and you can switch your cameras and so forth with it. Not on here as a newer product, which is a Dante ceiling mic module that has an amp built in for speakers and for your mic all in one system, which is pretty cool. Before I go into like the full system, kind of the solution for it, what it does, what it looks like when it's operating, we're going to talk a little bit about the IntelliShot, because I think this product really enhances our entire EasyIP ecosystem. It allows you now to do not just conferencing and lecture capture, but it kind of kicks it up a notch where you can do, auto framing. You can have multiple cameras in the room. So one of the key features to the IntelliShot, it's a 30x lens. So now when you have these large classrooms or lecture halls, you can confidently be about 50 feet away and still get a really nice, head and mid-body shot. So you can get a really nice close-up. The configurable auto framing experience, we can really fine-tune our auto framing. You can actually basically customize it to whatever professor's in there. It has built-in microphones. You're probably not going to use that in this application. We have a few different versions. We have one that has USB 3, HDMI, and IP streaming all on a single camera. And then we have a unique form factor, which allows you to kind of mount it behind a monitor. So if it was in the back, you'd have a confidence monitor to kind of watch the video. Or it's really, it's ADA compliant, so you can put it on the wall. It's not going to be more than 4 feet off the wall, so it's pretty nice. It's PoE Plus, which is almost all of our stuff now is going to be PoE Plus powered and remote managed. We do have the EasyIP version, which is just a network cable. And then we also have, if you are doing MTR rooms in your school, we do have a Microsoft Teams certified version of this. Okay. What it kind of looks like, what that Easy IP camera does, it has a 4K imager. And what it does is it uses that, basically how you set the shot up. It will use that 4K to EPTZ around, and it will give you a 1080p output. So you can kind of see here what the camera's seeing on the left, and actually the program output on the right, based on its movement and what it's seeing. How it works, it's really unique. In this image, there's a lot going on, but let me tell you about it a little bit. So on the top left is actually the program output. So that's what the camera is outputting for the program. On the top right-hand side is what the imager is actually seeing. And on the bottom, it actually shows our motion detection, kind of what the camera is seeing. So you can see on the bottom right where it has all the white outlines and dots. That's actually pixel movement. So what the camera is doing, it's looking for pixels that are moving, and it kind of erases all the static background. So that's how it auto frames. So it's not tracking one individual or anything. It's actually going to frame every bit of movement that's in that room or within the camera shot. It's going to frame it and kind of give you the output, like you can see on the top left. Even though there's more in the conference room, it's only giving you the framed output that it sees. So, when you're setting this up, I like to go through and basically let it run for a minute or two, kind of check out, because movement can be anything. It could be, a clock, reflections, monitors, lights reflecting off of a window, or windows in general. So you can kind of go through and you can really basically, we call mask off all of that unnecessary noise. So the camera starts with a fresh, clean slate, and then it really is only picking up the movement that you really want it to frame. How you do that is in our GUI, when you first set it up, you're going to go through and you're going to basically fine tune it. So we have some presets basically to start out with. We have 6 presets. We have one for conferencing and one for lecture capture. You have a default, which is just the standard everyday use. You have one for, you want it highly responsive or you want it to be kind of conservative. And you can pick those individual presets and kind of then work from there. So you can go through and you can fine tune, like, how long do you want the camera to wait before it decides to move and track or frame someone? So some professors can be very, they can move around quite a bit when they're teaching. This will kind of allow it to persist a bit, so it's not really moving too far out of the frame. If it does move a little bit farther out of the frame, then it can kind of grab it and move with it. But you can set up those parameters, which is pretty nice. And then once you have that done, you could actually save it and then reload that if something happens to our audio deployment tool. So let's talk about some applications here. So this would be like a single decoder application. What we're seeing here is this is actually a screen grab from like one of our deployment tools or the embedded web page on your computer. We have 3 cameras and we have a PoE switch with the decoder. So you can kind of see, as I click through here, you can kind of see what it does. It basically, you can use this from the client. You can actually just switch it from the client, third-party control or anything like that. And then if you want to say, hey, we wanted to add tracking to this scenario, you can then add another camera. It doesn't change any of your configuration. You go in, you would basically discover that camera, add it to it, and now it's part of the ecosystem. It's literally that simple. You can connect it to your network switch and then auto discover it through the Easy IP mixer, and you're done. And it's now accessible for all of that. So and then you can kind of see here, this is a this is kind of like a split room application, or if you have a professor station and something in the lectern where you wanted the USB for the teacher when they're normally presenting and so forth, or you wanted to have a guest application. So you could actually put a separate decoder in the room and it could also access those cameras. So this gives you the ability to really scale your project, and each decoder can talk up to 4 cameras. So theoretically, in this scenario, you could have up to 8 cameras in any given room based on the amount of decoders you have. So we have that here. You can kind of see, and this is a basically small setup. So you have, I'm going to go back here. You have a basic setup where you can have 1, 2, 3, or even 4 cameras. You could have all auto framing cameras, which is a great solution where you could have, 1 of or 2 of these. And what's cool about the IntelliShot cameras is that, one, when you want to recall a preset, it doesn't have to PTZ, because it's an electronic PTZ camera. It automatically, within a fraction of a second, goes right to that preset. So it's kind of nice if you had, imagine an application where you had one camera that had presets based on your room configuration, where you wanted things to happen, whiteboard, presenting, or whatever you wanted to do, wide shot. And then you had one camera that's continually auto framing. So once you were done with your preset, it would go back, and then you would have the auto framing camera that never stopped doing it. So it's a really cool application. You can do 2 of them, 3, I mean, obviously whatever you want. So go back here. So this is a single camera. So this is how you can kind of scale up. So imagine this, I mean, every university has conference rooms, right? And the cool thing about all this is that they use the exact same platform. So you can use a platform for a very small conference room all the way up to super large, lecture halls and so forth. So it's all so similar. It's all exactly the same way to set up, install, all of that stuff. And honestly, the installing these things, it's what's probably, I think, one of the key features to this, because you're looking at what the installation is. They're network cables to devices from a switch. It's so easy, literally a salesman can do it. It's not hard. It comes pre-configured and it's easily discoverable. So here's another 4-camera solution using 3 different types of cameras. You can see here, because the mixer has an HDMI input, you have ability to add content from your PC or a separate camera if you want it. So if you want extra cameras, but this is really cool because you can do picture in picture, you can do side by sides, so forth. And it also has an HDMI out. So if you wanted to run that to local monitor or something like that, you could do that. We are compatible with just about every software platform there is. Zoom, obviously we're using that, Teams, Google Hangouts, WebEx, all of that stuff. And with this particular product, we have triggers, so you can kind of do some automation with some IR cones, step mats, those type of things. Also third-party control, Crestron, AMX, Extron, all those people. So you can do audio in from third-party audio, third-party DSPs or something like that for large rooms. We also have obviously our Dante audio and Dante mics. The deployment tool, this kind of makes it, this brings it up a notch, because it's not really a over the network control system or anything like that. What it is, it's a great management tool. So if you are a university that's already using this, you probably have this installed on a local laptop or something like that. This gives you the ability to pull up every single Vadio product that you have on your network. And basically it will tell you, what the status is of that device. Is it out of firmware? Does the firmware need to be updated? You could actually go in and pull down and see if the US, you get a call from one of your professors saying, hey, it's not working. You can actually tell from this platform if the USB is even plugged in, what the USB is outputting. Hey, is it outputting, 720 or 1080? Nope, it's like some kind of really low format video coming out. So you could tell all of that from remote management capabilities. You can mute all the cameras. So you could actually change usernames and passwords at 100 cameras at a time or so, or as many as you want. It gives you really nice ability to manage all your stuff. So one update to this coming is that probably in late summer, we will be adding daylight to this. So you'll be able to see your screens and kind of manage your screens and so forth for this with one of our new motors. I do see I'm getting a little bit of chat here. All right. And that was it on the audio stuff. Anybody have questions? Anybody have any questions?
You mentioned daylight being added to that. Is that just giving you feedback on whether screen is up, down, or is there anything more to that?
You'll be able to cycle the screen and do all that kind of stuff, which is, it's not quite, I mean, Paul's on here. Paul could probably maybe answer some of that. I know he probably worked with that, but it will give you a lot of basic information. So, you can probably, I think it's gonna be able to tell you how much the drop is on the screens for like our sight line, because the sight line has up to 70 inches of drop based on the cables it's on. So you'll be able to do that. Really, it's great for like when you're at a session, you'll be able to cycle your screens so they don't get stuck, they don't get any kind of ripples on them and so forth.
Got it.
We are
Okay,
working. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think mainly with like the sight line of being able to move the drop would be really cool.
Yep.
A great feature.
Yeah. And right now, we've seen working models of it. It's ready. We're thinking probably late summer, because it's a brand new motor. It's not going to be, you're not going to be able to retrofit it to any existing screens or anything like that. It's a whole new motor. So obviously we got to get rid of some of our other stock too. So by the time that happens, we'll have the new motors and inventory. So
I was going to ask that. So this is only for your new screens that are coming out. It won't take, because I guess right now we just have, basically relay control, right? Tell it to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Those.
Exactly. It's we're working, we want to get more in there. We want to do map and some other stuff, but it just takes, it's a long process to do that. But daylight's our first step to adding it to the deployment tool. And the deployment tool is amazing. Paul on here can attest to this, is that there's a chat feature on the deployment tool where if you have a question or a feature request, you can actually put that in there and it goes right to our people. And they actually use that. And when they actually do like firmware updates or, version updates, they actually put a lot of that stuff in there, which is pretty cool.
And then that back to the slide that you had, because we are a bring your own device campus completely, and we're starting some specialty spaces. We don't have too many yet, but we might be taking over some of like just general, not classroom, but general use, where we're going to have a kind of initiative to update social spaces, lobbies, things like that for more flexible learning events and things. So I like that. You had the multiple cameras into some box that then could be plugged directly into a laptop. Like, could that
exactly? Yeah. So basically think of having, as many like PTZ cameras, whatever cameras you needed in the environment. Basically it goes over IP to a AV bridge. That's all it really is. It's an AV bridge that's accepting IP signals from our cameras. So it's just kind of giving you the ability to move it around and be creative in where you have to put stuff and not have to worry about USB extension, which is a pain. It's highly unreliable. I mean, we sell USB extension cables, but they only last for so long sometimes, and they can get damaged really easy when you're pulling the wall. So having this is just a simple network cable, and having the ability to have even more than one bridge in there to talk to the same cameras, which is kind of nice because you can have multiple areas, large conference room tables or different spots in your classroom. So it's pretty nice. we actually have coming out, and we have ability, we're going to have these little device boxes that you're going to go HDMI in, you can put anything HDMI into it, and it's going to add it to the ecosystem. So if you wanted to, like, just a presenting laptop from a location, you'll be able to present it, and because there's a HDMI out on the mixer, you would have program out from that laptop remote location somewhere else in the room.
That's great. And can it, because we do have a mix of cameras, does it only audio control and stuff, or could I use some existing ones we have?
With the Easy IP system, it's only Vadio product, only Vadio cameras. But Paul, I think you might be on mute, but I know with the HDMI input version, you'll be able to add a separate camera, right? From a different type of camera.
No, we can't hear you.
You're
Doesn't
muted.
look like you're muted, but probably just got the wrong one.
Yeah. He's in our lab over there. From what I understand, though, you're going to be able to take basically it's in any HDMI feed, and you'll be able to drop it into the ecosystem.
That's good.
How you would control that camera would have to be up to you, either via IP or RS-232 or something like that with your third-party control. You would have to do it that way, but you would be able to get the video feed in through the HDMI.
That's good.
Any other questions? I mean, it is that system is really that simple. We've been doing trainings throughout the country. So if anybody's interested, we actually go in and have what we call the Legrand Day, where we go in and we bring this whole system in to the university, and we let them set it up from scratch, configure it, and then we break it and have them reconfigure it. So it is pretty simple. It's meant to be like, hey, if I needed to do it myself, I could do it, or you as a university wanted to do it, install it yourself. It is not that hard. And with our device control, you don't even need, I mean, a lot of you probably already use third-party control, but you could get it up and running even without a third-party control.
Can you talk about Legrand Day a little bit more? So how does that work if someone wants to do that? Do they just reach out to Legrand and then you guys come out and throw stuff in the room and let them go for it?
Yeah, we oftentimes we'll pair it. We'll have Joe Cornwall come out or do it remotely, or we have some other people come out. We do like AV over IP class that's CTS certified. We can do it that way, but it's usually a half day, but we bring out like 3 systems, and we'll set it up in your facility, and you can bring as much staff as you want. And we basically have 3 easy IP systems that you can play with. You can set up, you can break, you can configure. And most importantly, it's like troubleshooting. What happens if you lose your configuration from your switch? How to set the switch back up to work perfectly with the easy IP. Do you need to use a Luxo switch? No, we send it with it as part of a kit. It doesn't have to be on your network. It could just be local. It's just for powering and communicating with the devices. But
as far as that goes, you have audio finally?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Somebody disconnected the line inputs off of the Baby Bridge Matrix Mix.
Well, that doesn't help at all.
No.
So, but yeah, we've done it at several universities. We actually, I think BC attended one of ours here in Tennessee. But yeah, where are you located?
I'm in California. I actually work for CDW.
Okay.
But I work with universities all over the place. But I'd never really heard of that, so I thought that was really cool. A lot of times they send the customer somewhere, right, instead of bringing you to the customer. But I think that's kind of cool to do a break fix. I used to work for Joe at USC, and we used to get kind of that special treatment. I think a lot of times because we were USC, because we're a big university, but I think a lot of smaller universities don't normally get that kind of someone actually coming out on site. But that's cool to know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are 5 or 6 other versions of me around the country. In Southern California, that would be Art Voxel. He can come out and do that. He can bring all the gear out. He can set up, in fact, we're doing these all over the country based on requests. So this week I did 2 of them that were all C2G based. They were only C2G. We brought docking stations out and cables, and we had a Voyager cart. We went through and just like, hey, what brand do you want to see? Do you want to see Chief? You want to see whatever? And we will come out for the entire day if you like and go through everything. Hands-on, play with stuff, just check it out. Because honestly, speeds and feeds only do so much. I talked to you about the Easy IP system, but until you really set it up and go, that was unbelievably easy. In fact, if you had that device control, you could set everything up from that device controller. It is that easy to set up and configure. Again, it's so easy a sales guy can do it, honestly. I mean, that's yeah, it is really easy. And that's Vadio's thing. It's the art of easy. We don't want it to be complicated for people. And we understand that universities now are doing a lot of their own stuff. I mean, the integration wise, not just so being able to go out and do that, troubleshoot it, and we found that was really important. That's kind of why we started the Legrand days.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe wants to do 3 of them. So get him scheduled.
I'll take 3. No, but I actually think it'd be neat to do and then invite other schools too, especially bringing out, we just purchased a ton of I always say the name of the thing wrong. The remote, the power management box.
RackLink.
That's it. We just bought a ton of those things, but like there's the things that like you guys sell that most people don't think of, right? So to bring out an entire ecosystem, I think people think, and I could be wrong, they think screens, mounts, and cameras probably the first things they're going to announce, and then they start thinking racks. So that would be really neat to do and kind of bring an ecosystem out and put it there, and then even figure out ways to kind of tap it into our system and invite other schools to kind of an open house. And I work a lot with art. I mean, good, but you've got this, like, I didn't know this was something either. So that would be really interesting to do.
I think last September we did it with Vanderbilt, MTSU, and Tennessee Tech. And we actually had a couple consultants come to kind of go through, and we invite some integrators depending on if the schools like them or use them. We'll invite those integrators too based on their recommendation. But yeah, usually with the when we do the Vadio version, we bring Mid-Atlantic the power stuff because I think that complements it perfectly. We go through the RackLink, that's a powerful tool. The RackLink, the Premium Plus, those PDUs are unbelievably powerful. You can individually cycle each outlet. They're pingable. You can have one outlet say, hey, I want you to kind of constantly ping this device. If it's not there, it reboots it, sends you a message. So that's a great product. It's amazing. So we do that. We have a couple different versions we bring out, so you can kind of see all that.
Yeah, no, I love it.
It's really cool.
Hey, Paul, is there anything I missed that you want to kind of touch on?
No, I think we have to scroll back a little bit, but we're also talking about having an output as one of those boxes from the easy over IP stuff.
Oh.
So you'd have an in and an out.
Yeah. So that is going to be the basis for a lot of our new products coming out. It's just going to continue to grow. It's a great ecosystem and platform. So.
Well, I mean, extending over network is so much easier than even HT-based T, because your HT-based T is more expensive and it's more limiting. This gives you some flexibility. Yeah. Not that we don't like HT-based T, because we have those products as well, but it's just kind of like the next evolution. And again, extending USB 3 sucks.
Yes.
It's just, there's so much bandwidth there, and the timing is very critical. So if you can have a short USB 3 cable and a product under the desk or in the lectern or wherever you need it, it really does help.
And I want to recommend anybody who wants to see more about this stuff. 1, you can reach out to me, but 2, we have amazing content on our YouTube channel. We have, all about the deployment tool, like all the features, any updates, how to configure your Easy IP system, demos, and in-depth stuff on the IntelliShot. Actually, showing the IntelliShot in use in a conference room and or classroom. So we have a lot of that stuff, content on there that just kind of do it yourself, because it is really easy to do. But we have all of that stuff on our YouTube channel.
Yep. And if you like a live demo, we can do those too.
Yep. We do. We go out a lot to either, we can do it virtually or in person, bring it out and set it up and kind of show you, because the IntelliShot does really work. It works really well. All right. Well, that's all I had. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Again, if you need anything, I think my information's there. You can shoot me an email, or anybody in your area that that does Legrand, and they can help you out with getting a Legrand day set up or in-person things. So
I love it. I'm definitely doing that. So that's awesome.
Yep.
And I want to try out the little easy IP thing too.
And we can send kits out. For people who are more technical, we can send the kits out and stuff like that. But it's really cool to have someone there. Like I do it. All of our people, we can go through and it's really nice to break it and go, how do I fix this? How do I set this back up? And that's I think the key portion to it.
Yeah.
So
what happens if?
Yes. Yeah. And we do our AV over IP class. We basically train you on why you need to have things set up certain ways. What happens if we get a lot of network traffic. We go through the whole basis of it too. So all right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time. Thank you for having us. And we look forward to doing it again.
Yep. Love it. Thank you.
Right.
And like I said, this will get posted and it'll be posted for everybody to watch as well.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.